Well, we know who's starting the Mets opener, and that leads us into what are the odds? Jacob deGrom is the favorite to win a third straight Cy Young Award at plus 350. So if you bet $100 and he wins the award, you'll win 350. Max Scherzer is at plus 600, followed by Walker Buehler and Jack Flaherty. So, Moose, does deGrom get the three-peat?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, listen, I'm not going to put much weight into the Cy Young. deGrom isn't even going to put much weight into winning the Cy Young if he does end up winning a third in a row, Eamon. But with that being said, I'm going to go out west. It's not going to be Kershaw, who's dealing with a little bit of a back issue now. I'm going to go with Walker Buehler. I think that certainly the stuff is dynamic, Sal. We've seen that in the past. He's pitched to a low ERA. He's won a lot of games. The Dodgers are an absolutely loaded team this year for Dave Roberts, and they're going to win a lot of baseball games. I think Walker Buehler is going to put together a pretty special year on the mound and kind of start to supersede and outshine Clayton Kershaw and the wonderful career the lefty's had out there in Los Angeles. I'm going to go with Buehler win the Cy Young this year.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to go away from deGrom, too. And not that I think he's going to have a bad year, but look, law of averages is going to be tough to do, especially this year, shortened season, tougher schedule for the Mets. I'm going to go to the NL Central, Moose, and go with Flaherty. And I know he's one of the favorites here, but you look at what he did last year, the ERA under 3, a guy who's coming into his own. He's confident, still has a lot to prove. I think the Cardinals are going to be a good ball club this year. So to your point about the Dodgers' loaded lineup, I know the Cardinals aren't that loaded, but I think the Cardinals are going to do well in the Central, plus playing the AL Central. I like Flaherty to win the NL Cy Young this year.
All right, guys, we stick with the Mets, and we know Pete Alonso is chomping at the bit to get going on Friday. His over-under for home runs this year is set at 16.5. Sal, over or under?
Don't you think that's a lot? I mean, I would expect Alonso in a full year to hit 40. 16.5 would be more than that, right? If you're prorating it over the course of a full season here. So I'm going to go under the 16.5 moves. Not maybe he hits 13, 14. I just think that's a lot of home runs in back-to-back years. So I think that's a high number for a 60-game season. I'm going to go under.
Yeah, I'm going to go under as well, Sal. And I think he's going to hit home runs. I'm not going to deny that. He's coming off an unbelievable year a year ago. But, I mean, you could see a little bit of a downturn. Certainly the book is out. Had an unbelievable rookie year. Maybe there's a little bit of a different approach. The pressure's not on him to go out there and have to be the guy night in and night out in a lineup that's that's pretty deep and it's got some valuable hitters in it. So I'm with you. I'm going to go under that number, 16.5.
Moose, I'm glad Sal did the math for us with that 16.5, prorating it over a 60-game season. Yeah. Fractions were never my thing. All right, now let's discuss the Mets win total. The Amazins over-under is set at 32.5 wins. Moose, what do you think?
Yeah, well, now with the expanded playoffs, I mean, there's really no excuse. The Mets have got to be a playoff team in 2020. I'm going to take the over, even with the Stroman injury. And listen, I know there's a differentiation of opinion between the doctors and Stroh based on that when you take a look at that calf and how long he's going to be out. Put that aside, Sal. That's a hit to the starting rotation. I think the bullpen will be better. I love the lineup. I love the options that Rojas has. I'm going to take over that number. I think the Mets are going to be a playoff team this year.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I don't know about the playoffs. Look, with the expanded postseason, by the way, I don't think it's guaranteed that they get in, but they should. And if they don't, they should be embarrassed. I'm going to go under that number. I just don't believe in this ball club the way that they're built. They don't have a real catcher, an all-around catcher. They don't have a real center fielder. They have 2 first basemen. They have about 5 DHs. I don't love Cano. I don't love Cespedes. Those guys look old, 3-4. And they don't have a closer. That's why they're not defining roles, because they can say what they want. They really don't trust Edwin Diaz. So that would be a concern as well, plus the lack of depth in the starting rotation. I think they'll be around a 500 team. If I had to pick, I'm going to go under that 32.5.